Guys, what's going on? It's Joe from Gadgetry Tech. I'm back with a review. It's been a while. This is a slightly different setup if you can't tell. I sold my house. We're building a new house with a larger studio. That's not done till next summer-ish, but that's going to help a lot with future content. So in the meantime, we're going to do the best we can with what we got. And now that I'm finally back, I'm kicking things off with the Movo UM300 USB mic. $60 microphone. 2-year warranty as long as you scan the little barcode on the back. It says 1 year online, but if you scan it and activate it, you get 2 years. So there's a lot to consider when you're spending $60 on a mic, and you can't have Blue Yeti level of expectations for sound quality. That's why the Blue Yeti costs almost double the price of this. So you have to temper your expectations, but it doesn't mean you're getting a bad microphone or a bad product, or it doesn't mean you have to get a bad product. So I want to get into the specs and features first, kind of show you what to expect and what you're getting in the box. Then I'll talk about the build quality, design, layout, etc. And then, of course, the most important part is the sound quality. How does the microphone actually sound? What was my experience with it? And then you can let me know what you think, and hopefully this helps you make the right decision. This voiceover was recorded using the Movo UM300 microphone. I did make some changes in post-production to improve the sound quality a bit, just to show you the potential of the microphone. Later in this review, we will show the microphone in its pure form with no changes to the sound whatsoever, but I just wanted to give you this as an example. Included in the box, you get 2 USB cables. The USB-C to A cable is 3 meters or about 10 feet long, and the USB-C to C is 2 meters or about 6.5 feet long. The base of the unit is quite heavy and has a foam ring on the bottom, which makes a nice stable platform to rest on, also helps reduce vibrations. Underneath the UM300, you have a USB-C port, which is what's used for your data and power, and a headphone jack, which is used for microphone monitoring to hear yourself. Then you have the 5/8" screw adapter to mount on a boom. As far as sound quality goes, this microphone runs at 48 kilohertz sample rate with 16-bit audio, and it's rated for 20 to 20,000 hertz. The sensitivity is negative 36 decibels, plus or minus 3 dB at 1,000 hertz. And it has 2 pickup patterns, cardioid and omnidirectional, but more on that later. The microphone is nearly all metal construction with exception of the plastic fork that mounts the microphone to the base of the unit. The base is metal, as is the housing of the microphone, and I found that build quality is top notch, especially at this price point. The microphone comes assembled in box. All you have to do is flip it around because it's upside down when it's packed, and you're basically good to go. Just use the included USB cables to plug and play, and there are no drivers needed. The textured finish on the microphone is excellent here because it adds a nice robustness to it, and it makes it look like a higher quality mic, which in this case, and based off the feel of it, it is. The top of the microphone has a built-in windscreen on it with a metal mesh. It does a great job at reducing plosives naturally without requiring any additional accessories, further adding to the value of what you get here at $60. The microphone lights up in blue when you are adjusting the headphone output volume, which is basically the mic monitoring so you can hear yourself speak. The volume knob is also very easy to adjust with one finger, showcasing a high quality potentiometer. Pressing in on the microphone will mute it and switch the light to red, and pressing and holding the mic switches the color to purple, which means you are now adjusting the microphone sensitivity, or gain, if you will. Pressing the button at the bottom of the mic will actually change your pickup pattern. On the left you have cardioid, and on the right you have omnidirectional, making it very easy to switch back and forth depending on the type of recording you are trying to do. So as you saw, there's a lot to like for what comes out of the box. Those cables are really long, and that's super important to give you the flexibility. Now, this stands at almost 9 inches tall, so that's super important because realistically, if you're spending $60 on a microphone, you may not be looking into a $50 to $150 boom to mount this to. Obviously, you can factor that into your budget and everything, but a lot of people that are looking for a starter microphone or an entry-level priced microphone, you're not necessarily investing in all the other gear to step up the game further, at least initially. So it's important to know and understand what you're getting out of the box and see if that's right for you. At 9 inches tall, that's excellent because when you compare it to something like a Samson Meteor mic, which is slightly more expensive than this, that sits really low on your desk. This is high, and as you get higher or closer to your mouth, you get a little bit more of that proximity effect, and that helps with the sound quality. It adds a little bit more warmth and depth to your voice, less like a tin can. Conversely, the farther away you go, the worse the sound quality gets with any microphone. You sound more distant because you are. If your room is not treated for reflections and reverbs, you have to turn your mic gain up so you can still pick your voice up loud enough. And by doing that, now you're picking up more of the room reflections and reverbs because you're amplifying all the sound that's coming in. So I like that out of the box at $60, you get a robust stand. This is actually quite heavy of a stand, and it's metal. Then you have a metal casing. You have a metal mesh cover for the top where the condenser is. And another really cool thing about this, I want to show you this. This will be demonstrated better during the audio test portion, but they actually use a rubber grommet to mount the base to the mic itself. And rubber isolates vibrations. This obviously isn't a floating cage. It's not like a shock mount or anything, but it's a welcome add, and it's something I didn't quite expect at $60 because realistically, you have to cut corners somewhere at this price. Something has to give. But build quality is definitely not one of them. I love the design of this. It's all black. It's sleek. The Movo logo is not too dominant or anything. It's not like this overbearing mic in any way. It just looks like a classy mic. I love that when you flip this upside down, you can see how simple the layout is. You have that 5/8 inch thread, so if you did start with this but down the road decided you want a boom, you have the larger screw hole. It's better to have this because it's more flexible with booms, and they make little adapters online to change it. So whether you need a 1/4 inch or 3/8 inch, you can always step this down. And then USB-C, it's 2021, almost 2022, so I'm glad it's USB-C. That's where everything should be. And then you have your 3.5 millimeter microphone monitoring port. I suppose if you're concerned about travel, you can flip this upside down. It makes it a little smaller, but you know, it's at the end of the day, it's still pretty compact. So that is the layout. Now, there are two modes to this. I'm going to talk about the basics here. So you have, and let's plug this in. Let's see if I can get it lit up if my cord's long enough here, because I want to show you what I mean. So there are two patterns. You have your cardioid mode, which for some reason I always have trouble saying. Then you have omnidirectional. So cardioid has a lot better noise rejection. It's just the pickup pattern is focused in the front, and it rejects or greatly reduces the noise coming in from the sides of the mic and behind the mic. That's you pretty much, if it's just you and you're not trying to get more of the ambience of the room, you want to be in cardioid mode. If you're doing a podcast, you're doing a stream, switch it to that mode. It's the left one. You can see there's like a little groove that comes in on the circle. And by doing that, it's going to help reject your keyboard noise, reflections in the room, etc. It's just going to help give you a better chance to sound better. So it's super important. I recommend that. Now, if you switch to omnidirectional mode, this is better intended if you want to pick up more of the acoustics in the room. Let's say you're singing and you have a guitar, or you have several people doing a podcast at once and you just have this microphone, you switch it to omnidirectional. There's a little bit more noise rejection on top. It does have a slightly stronger pickup pattern around the sides, so plan accordingly. But it's, again, at $60, you're getting the option here. Now, when you have a blue light, this is your volume. This is what's going to adjust what you hear in your headphones for microphone monitoring, so you can hear how you sound, whether it's clipping, you're getting vibration or feedback from the bass, etc. That's how you adjust that, and adjusting the volume will obviously change the volume of your headphone. I do like this volume knob, by the way. Normally I don't focus on the button feel as much, especially at this price point, but it is incredibly smooth. It feels like a super high quality knob or potentiometer or pot inside. And what I really like is you can operate this with one finger. So if it's on the bass and you're just trying to adjust it, you can do that with one finger. That's not common with inexpensive products in general, because usually there's a little bit of wiggle in the shaft and it sticks, and you always have to do two fingers at minimum. So it just, again, it demonstrates the quality part. The push button on this feels nice, and this is where I'm switching modes. Now, if I push in on the volume knob, it turns red. It's a hard click. It does get picked up from the mic. I'll show you that in the demo, but that's how you mute yourself. Now, if I'm unmuted and I want to change the sensitivity of the microphone, all I do is press and hold this, and it will turn purple. Once it turns purple, now I'm adjusting the microphone gain or sensitivity. So out of the box, I'm going to tell you now, this thing is hot. It's smoking hot. That means that it picks up everything. It's amplified to an extreme. If you talk loudly or close to the mic, it's going to distort and clip. and it's going to hurt your sound quality a lot. Doesn't mean that the microphone's bad, so if you're getting that, don't think you got a piece of junk mic. Switch it to this mode, turn the gain down, because I think for 90% of people, you're going to want the gain slightly lower than what it defaults to out of the box. Obviously, mess around with your setup. If you're a soft-spoken person and it sits this far away, sure, the gain being that high could be helpful. But if it sits a little bit closer on the desk and you have it positioned just right and you speak more loudly, you want a little more overhead, so turn that down. There's some cool tips you can do in streaming software to fix clipping issues, but you want your source to not clip, because if the signal's coming in distorted, there's nothing you can do with it at that point. All right, now I'm going to talk to you using the UM300 mic so you can see what it sounds like, and I'm going to change the pickup pattern as well. So now I am talking to you in cardioid mode. Everything is focused in the front. So what I'm going to do now is turn the microphone sideways as I'm speaking, and you can hear how much of a volume drop that is. If I go behind it, there's even more of a volume drop, and some of the pickup that you're hearing is just reflections from the room. So I'm going to keep turning this. Now I'm on the left side of the microphone, and now I'm back in front. So the cardioid pattern on this is excellent. It has a really good amount of noise rejection without hurting the sound quality at all, because that focus is so good up front. So I'm going to switch to omnidirectional and then turn the microphone around. Now I'm in omnidirectional mode. You may hear a little bit more reflections in the room now if you're using headphones, but I'm going to turn this around. And if you notice, it pretty much keeps up with the same volume. It's not dropping off, and I still sound good whether I'm in front or behind the microphone. So that is the pickup pattern and how that works. I hope that explains it. You want cardioid, again, if you're typing or if you have other things going on in the room, omnidirectional if you want to just pick up everything. All right, so there's another part that's important to a microphone, especially at this price range, because again, when you build these, you have to keep cost and control at $60, right? So what has to give? And part of that usually comes down to what's called handling, and that's picking up vibrations on your desk. So if I'm hitting my hand, there obviously it picks up some vibration and some deeper bass. Lower frequencies get transmitted because they travel further. So this, however, does an insanely good job of passively rejecting noise and vibration from the surfaces that are touching the microphone. They really excelled there. If anything, the build quality and handling alone it has to be up in the top tier at this price point. When we get into sound quality, admittedly, this doesn't have the same warmth or clarity as the Samson Meteor mic. I'll just be straight up front. So I'm trying to help you guys make the right decision, and girls that are watching this video, I'm going to show you the Samson Meteor mic so you can hear the sound quality difference. But the Samson Meteor mic, everything I love about this, I dislike about the Samson Meteor mic. Okay, now I'm talking to you on the UM300 microphone. This is how I sound with the mics placed at a similar distance to my mouth, but on the table surface. So we're going to switch to the Samson Meteor mic now, and just again for reference, I'm going to tap the desk one more time. And now we're going to switch. All right, now I'm talking to you on the Samson Meteor mic. This is how I sound. It has a little bit more warmth, and it's a little bit more open up top. So it is technically a cleaner sounding microphone, but there is one flaw I want to point out. It picks up everything. All right, so the Samson Meteor mic, it does sound slightly better, but when you compare the two, let's just look at some basics here. So totally different design. You still have the 5/8 inch thread support underneath, which is cool and everything. I'm not a huge fan of the Meteor mic because at this price point, there's some obvious issues. If you're not using this on a boom, the placement of this is pretty awful because it gets real low on your desk. Even though the microphone quality is better if you're in the same distance, this does allow you to get a closer distance to your mouth. The other thing I cannot stand with this one is because of the way it's designed with the three little prongs that come out, if you will, or feet. I'm going to open this up so I can show you. You get some adjustment as far as angle goes, and sure, it looks cool, it's kind of retro, but this picks up every ounce of vibration on your desk. It can ruin your recording. So yeah, maybe your voice will sound slightly better, but people are going to hear rumbles and pops and noises all the time if you move around. So if you do that, especially if you're using this for streaming and you're typing or using your controller and you're resting your hands on the desk. To me, I would rather have something that has a more subtle output, that's cleaner and doesn't have all that noise transference, because that's very, very difficult to remove, especially during a live stream. So, and even then, do you really want to deal with that in post? So this is good on an ARM, but at that point, if you're spending that much, there are better microphones out there, in my opinion. Even the UM700, which is an upgraded version of this, that's only $80. That's $10 more than the Meteor mic, and that's a superior mic in every way. So, but that's how they sound. So pure sound quality, again, slightly better here, but everything else, I like this guy. So I'm going to show you one more mic just to step up the price range. You can tell me what you think of that one. So the last mic I want to show you, just to step up a little bit, because I like the height and compactness of this one. This is the new Bumblebee 2 from Neat. It's a $100 microphone. We're going to compare it now so you can hear the sound quality difference. So now I'm talking to you on the Neat Bumblebee 2 USB mic. This is a $100 microphone. It has similar characteristics to the Samsung Meteor mic with regards to transference of vibration into the mic or handling issues. So I'm going to bang the table now. So even though this has some kind of a rubber mount, if you will, going to the fork that holds the microphone, it still picks up a lot more vibration. All right, so you can see the sound quality differences, and yes, at $100, I think the Neat mic still sounds excellent. Again, but that's almost double the price. So the point of why I did this and reviewed those particular microphones is to temper your expectations, but also help you understand or decide what's most important to you. If you're looking for the maximum possible sound quality you can get for the price, the UM300 may not be it. I think the UM700 is better in terms of sound quality versus what you spend. And then, of course, you have that blue Snowball, which is $50 microphone. It goes on sale for $40. The problem with the Snowball that a lot of people don't realize is there are no audio controls or adjustments on it at all. It's just a USB mic. You have to do everything through software, which, unless you're using certain software or set up your machine a certain way and you're familiar with it, that can be a massive pain. So in that point, you're paying a little bit extra for the rich feature set of the UM300, which just makes it more usable every day. So it's an interesting mic. I mean, what's really cool about this is it works with Windows, it works with Android, it works with Mac. Use the USB-C or A cable, depending on what device you need to connect it to, and you're good to go. So I think if you're just looking for a good everyday microphone and you want to keep it at a low price point because you don't need the more expensive stuff or you don't want to deal with the extra software, this is a great mic out of the box. The only thing that is let down slightly is the pure sound quality per dollar. It lacks a little bit of the warmth in the bass, and it also doesn't have the same upper frequency clarity as some other mics do. However, it's still more than serviceable. When it comes to plosives with like it does do a good natural job of rejecting those. I don't like doing those types of things on my mic reviews because the proximity of how close you get to it. No one's going to do this and start popping with their mouth. And at every other distance, a normal distance, I found that the passive rejection for plosives, which is that sound you get into the microphone, is excellent. So there's no point in getting ridiculous just to try to make it pop. Anyway, I kind of go on a rant. I get passionate about technology. I know this is a $60 mic, and there's only so much you can say about it. But I hope that helped make your decision. I think as long as you know what to expect, and if this fits what you're looking for and you're happy enough with the sound quality, it's an excellent microphone. If you like everything you saw about this, but you want to step up the sound quality a little bit for just a little bit more, check out the UM700. That's an excellent microphone for $20 more. It's a little bit larger, so this is it's priced very fairly for what you get. I think they really knocked it out, making a very solid microphone in every regard, shortcomings and all. So anyway, I hope you guys found this helpful. I'll put a link in the description below for the UM300 and 700 if you decide that either of those are the right ones for you. Thank you so much for tuning in again. I know I took a long hiatus, but we're back. With that being said, I'll see you guys next time.